No help. You're all alone. And you think it's a good idea to leave your sister alone? I don't
With a go?
care if she's with that little demon child. That's even worse. Leaving two.
Exactly.
Let's get it. Subscribe to the channel.
Settle down, settle down, settle down, settle down. Let me do this. Let me do this. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I go by the name of GODGOTHAM Game, and welcome back to the channel. The second channel. Today we finna look or react to how to beat anime, and this is how to beat the Angry Ghost in Corpse Party. Bro, I've been watching like they on channel, bro, and it's like all about like anime type stuff. And I ain't gonna lie, I like it. I gotta watch some more of this stuff, man. Like, there's some things I don't even know. Like, I hadn't even saw. So yeah, the link gonna be down in the description below. If y'all want to check it out, go check it out too, man. But you know, the link gonna be down in the description. The link gonna be down in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, what for to do, man. You know my slogan, I'm the greatest. I wish I am God, because I really want to see what this gonna be. Quality, man. And I never, it's how to beat Angry Ghost in Corpse Party. I never saw this anime right here before.
If you were suddenly teleported into a world where dead spirits walk the earth, what would you do? These terrifying ghosts are trying to kill you, and there's no way out of this nightmare. I'm going to break down the mistakes made, what you should do, and how to beat the terrifying ghosts in Corpse Party. These kids have no idea they are all...
So these like teenagers. These teenagers, I'm assuming. Well, of course they gotta be teenager kids, because they can't be middle school.
All about to die horrible deaths. One day after school, they sit around a dark classroom as this girl, Ayumi, tells a horrifying story that happened in this school many years ago. This place was run by a headmaster who treated this school like it was his own child. But after one teacher died falling down the stairs, along with a bunch of other murders taking place, the headmaster was forced to shut down the school forever, and he went so insane from it that he threw himself off of the roof of his own school.
So he pretty much committed suicide?
It also mentions that their school, Kisaragi Academy, was built on top of the very ruins of the school where all the murders took place, and that the place below them was called Heavenly Host Elementary School. Ayumi then says that the teacher who died falling down the stairs, that her spirit sometimes wanders these very hallways on rainy days just like this.
And they in him too? That's crazy, man. Come on.
And this kid named Satoshi freaks the hell out at this horror story and wants to go home.
He probably the MC, the main character.
But the others beg Ayumi to finish her horrifying story. The rest of these kids have a death wish. They just don't know it yet. Then they hear two sinister knocks coming from the classroom door, just like in Ayumi's story. And the candle suddenly goes out. The door slightly opens and the class holds their breath in terror. But it turns out it was just their friendly teacher, and this one kid gets way too excited at the sight of the teacher. The teacher then tells them to head home, but they decide to play one last friendship game.
Why? The teacher just told y'all to go home.
Since one of them is leaving school, this girl, they decide to play one last game to make sure they stay friends forever. A game that is about to change their lives in the most terrifying way possible. The students then gather and hold this paper charm cutout, and then they all collectively pull it apart at the same time. Now, as long as they eat,
why they did that though?
Keep their piece of paper, their friendship will last forever. And that was their biggest mistake. Suddenly the ground violently
So if they lose one on paper, I'm assuming they over with, they done for.
Shakes, causing the school to shudder. And amidst the
what
shaking,
a teacher!
the whole group is
teacher
plunged down into total darkness. And that's when this girl suddenly wakes up in a creepy-looking classroom all alone. Shortly after that, though, she also finds this girl with her hair looking like she got two meatballs hanging from each side of her head. We'll call her Meatball Hair Girl.
Or we can call her Meatball Patty. But hey, it is on Crunchyroll. Cause if it is, I gotta watch it. Come on, please let me know. Is this on Crunchyroll or is it? That's what I got. I ain't got Funimation. I mean, I got Funimation, but I watch pretty much all my anime stuff on Crunchyroll though.
Meatball Hair Girl says that maybe they're in some kind of spirit world, and they then both try to figure out just what in the hell is going on. Okay, shit just got real, and we literally have no clue as to how we just got here, what's going on, or where we are. Though isn't it weirdly suspicious that Meatball Hair Girl just guessed off the top of her head that they're in the spirit world? It's kind
how she knew already? Yeah, she's sus. She's sus. She's one of them.
Kind of suspicious and random as hell, wouldn't you think? But we'll let that slide for now. First things first, mindset is half the battle. So it's important that we don't panic and take things slow. Because any such panicking and worrying about stuff is not going to help us control our emotions or the major stress hormones flooding our body. Because if we let them take over, it will weaken the connections in our brain and
I'm about to say, cause that's what they do. Like that would like psychosis and all that type of stuff. They want to weaken your mind so they can take control of your mindset and all that stuff. So yeah, be on to my story, man.
Limit the function of our prefrontal cortex, which is the part of the brain that does all of the rational information processing. By the way, being calm will tell us that if we
if you remain calm and stuff, then you know they won't get you. But if you start freaking out and stuff, then they pretty much gonna get a hold of you, bro, and it's over.
Remember, the earthquake made everyone in the room go down with us, including
it made
our
them freak
teacher.
them out.
So where are our friends? The first thing that I would do would be to look around for our friends and our teacher. Are they okay? Is everyone hurt? These are the things that I would check first. I would also make sure that I'm not hurt myself. Now, if I can't find my friends or my teacher, which does not make sense because they fell down here into the same spot where we are. So
I mean, I probably would try to hold hands with them. Me, I would have hold hands, bro. Like as I'm falling, I would have hold at least one of their down hands.
Should be able to find them or the remains of them. But assuming we can't find them, we can't wait around here forever. Though we should wait around for just a few minutes. We did just fall through a freaking floor that would cause some loud noise, which would make it very likely that someone nearby or something would come and find us. Now, if nothing happens after waiting a few minutes, we should get up and look around. We should also look and see if our own cell phone works. But if our cell phone doesn't work, we should pay attention to the fact that this place looks like a school just like ours, which means that this place is bound to have a phone somewhere and we need to find it. Because
that's that story she was talking about.
Remember, we don't have our friends, we don't have our teacher, we're all alone, and we need as much information as we can in order to get out of here. The two girls try to figure out where they are as Naomi hears a creepy laugh in the distance.
I gotta watch this.
Hair girl hears nothing. The two then check out the rest of this scary place, just as this creepy ass girl stalks them from behind.
Bet you didn't think this pizza is made from chickpeas, huh?
For real.
Yeah, just
Meatball Hair Girl then hits the bathroom before they both head down the stairs. And on the way down there, she gets a little too happy to be alone with Naomi. Just then, they see the front door and their ticket out of there. They also notice a bunch of little kids' shoes lying everywhere. They then wonder if they are in an elementary school. And the front door seems to be locked. Just then, Naomi hears another horrifying laugh in the distance as Meatball Hair Girl says that they should spend the night here.
Yo, Meatball Head Girl seem kind of sus, man. She's trying to get everyone. I think she's gonna be the pro and get her killed.
Till they figure things out. The two then head to the nurse's office to find some beds, and Meatball Hair Girl helps bandage up Ayumi's foot that appears to have been hurt during the fall. The two then cuddle up suspiciously close and prepare to go to bed. But that's when Meatball Hair Girl here suddenly realizes that she lost her piece of paper, this paper chart that they all took from earlier. Thinking she left it in the bathroom, she heads over there, leaving Naomi all alone to rest. All of a sudden, the lights in the room go out, and Naomi finds herself paralyzed and can't move a muscle.
Oh, sleeping paralysis or something like that. Yeah, I knew that Meatball Head. She sus. She one of them. She's a ghost. She worked with the ghosts.
Suddenly, this book begins scribbling shit all by itself, and the walls begin to bleed blood. Unable to move, she is forced to lay there and watch as the room turns into a nightmare. The air then begins to change and form into a terrifying spirit as it terrorizes Naomi to the point of insanity. Just when she couldn't bear it any longer, she suddenly hears the screams of Meatball Hair Girl in the distance. This shocks her and allows her to break free from the paralyzing spell and escape. The spirit chases after her but suddenly disappears. She suddenly sees a corpse fall off its chair and even sees this little girl who smiles with blood dripping out of her mouth. Naomi screams and runs, but just then Meatball Hair Girl returns, suddenly making all of the scariness surrounding them stop. Naomi is pissed as hell at Meatball Hair Girl and yells at her for leaving her behind, causing Meatball Hair Girl to storm off. A couple of moments later, Naomi then
I ain't gonna lie, I thought Meatball Hair Girl was like, I don't know, she could be playing a role though. She could be playing a part of like trying to play the friend and, you know, trying to get them all you know, yeah, what it is.
Feeling bad for being a big fat meanie, she then hears Meatball Hair Girl in the bathroom and goes in to find her, but something's not right. Naomi then suddenly hears a noise coming from one of the bathroom stalls. Slowly opening the door, she finds a nightmare that she never would have dreamt of in her most terrifying dreams. Meatball Hair Girl, but somehow still alive. Naomi tries to save her, rushing to find something to prop up Meatball Hair Girl's feet with, finding this bucket full of nastiness. But that's when the scream stops, and Naomi comes back to find strands of meatball hair draping down from a dead Meatball Hair Girl. Okay, this is insane. And more importantly, Naomi was too busy thinking about what a horrible friend she was to help out poor Meatball Hair Girl.
Yeah, like, oh, she freaking out. All she had to do was like, hurry up, and she could have just ran up there and just like probably cut it, whatever. I can't see because it blur. I can't see, like.
Could have easily saved her at least for a little while longer if she acted faster and not just mope around like an idiot. But her kicking the bucket could have happened in one of three ways. The first is based on the actual rope coming into contact with the area around the neck, where the rope physically constricts the carotid arteries and basically stops blood flow from reaching the brain. The second method is by cervical fracture or by breaking your neck from a drop. But the way Meatball Hair Girl was squirming means that she likely died the second way, gasping for breath in her last moments of life.
The air cut it off.
Truly a horrific way to have it all end. But what makes me more annoyed was how useless Naomi was, because she shouldn't have even left her side to begin with. Much like a kid being put on the shoulders of a parent, Naomi should have done this exact thing, as this would have provided Meatball Hair Girl with a much more stable platform from which she could have caught her breath while Naomi figured out an actual plan to get her down from there. Now realistically, Naomi would have to go look for something to cut her down with, and by the looks of things, where the rope is wrapped up around that wooden beam structure, there seems to be enough clearance up there to fit a person. So firstly, I would put Meatball Hair Girl on my shoulders for a second, let her catch her breath, and then I would tell her if she...
That's what I'm saying. Like, let her catch the breath, bro. Like, let her breathe and like let her remain calm and cool and, you know what I'm saying, collective.
She could climb up onto that wooden beam with the noose still attached to her neck. And from there, she could rest, and this would free up Naomi to go look for something sharp to cut her down with.
I agree.
Just then, this glasses girl pops up to a broken-hearted Naomi, and she tells her that Meatball Hair Girl came into contact with the curse of this place, and that she tried to protect her mind before the curse could kill her. Glasses Girl then tells her what's really going on around here. She mentions that a bunch of other kids from other schools have been sent here to die, just like Naomi's class, because the curse at this school drives angry spirits to kill everyone inside, and it will turn everyone in here, dead or alive, batshit crazy, making everybody eventually kill everyone.
My boy said bad, it's crazy. No, they're crazy.
Everybody Dead Space style, and their souls will eventually be absorbed by this school. Elsewhere, Satoshi and his little sister, Sweet Mochida, read an old newspaper that they find, which reports on the horrifying incident that took place here in 1973. The newspaper reports that after a month of children disappearing and the case being closed, the police discovered the corpses of all the missing children, along with this crazy school teacher behind all of this. Satoshi then realizes that this must be the horrifying story that Ayumi was telling them at the beginning, and he wonders how they can be inside Heavenly Host Elementary School since it was torn down ages ago. But this kid doesn't have time to think because his sister has to pee. So the two set off to find her a bathroom and to look for the others. They then run into Glasses Guy here, taking pictures of somebody's bloody guts on the wall, like a creep. Glasses Guy then tells them that
I ain't gonna lie. He probably like collecting evidence and try like he probably be the smart one out of the group.
He's run into other students here from other schools, but no one seems to be in their right mind, and none of them could answer any of his questions. He also mentions that they are in danger and that he saw ghosts attacking other students earlier. Satoshi then says that they should split up and look for the others, and Glasses Guy here agrees to send anybody he finds to the front entrance of the school.
I wouldn't split up, bro. I'm like, bro, we're in like in a creepy, unknown place, and the last thing I want to do is split up. I'd rather for all of us be together. No, sir.
Because finding anybody is probably a good idea in order to increase their chances of getting back home. Elsewhere, Ayumi and Blonde Guy here deal with the same thing that everyone else here is dealing with. absolute madness. Ayumi begins to lose her mind just as Blonde Guy sees this creepy spirit kid, and this kid is nuts, and he charges at them ready to kill. He suddenly pops up near Ayumi to kill her until he gets distracted by Blonde Hair Guy, causing the spirit to disappear. And creepy-ass Glasses Girl appears out of nowhere again. Blonde Hair Guy asks who the hell she is, but Glasses Girl just tells him that she's dead, and that she came here to find someone long ago. But suddenly the most
Wait, she's dead?
insane thing happens, because Ayumi here recognizes Glasses Girl, and they follow her into the library, where Ayumi tells Blonde Hair Guy that Glasses Girl was a famous high school blogger who wrote all about ghosts and scary stuff rooted in science. Ayumi then tells Glasses Girl that she was a huge fan, and that she even got the friendship charm that everybody else did earlier from her website, the charm that teleported everyone into this hellhole. Blonde Hair Guy doesn't have time for any of this and demands to know how they get back home. Glasses Girl then mentions that before she died, she was researching this school, trying to find a way back herself, and she thinks that the spirits of the children who died here in 1973 is what is causing this place to exist. Glasses Girl says that she doesn't know how to get back, but thinks that if they find some way to make the spirits happy, they'll let them leave. And one way to do this would be finding out who the murderer really is, and make the killer repent. Glasses Girl then says that everybody from Ayumi's class is here, but that
you supposed to make them happy, bro. Like, you like, well, you know, toys down now.
They are all in different dimensions thanks to this curse. Different dimensions, but in the same place. Kind of like Interstellar, meaning that in order to meet the rest of their friends, they'll all have to be within the same dimension. Well, alright. This is insane, and even though it sounds insane, what Glasses Girl said in theory could be actually true, because the world as we know it has 3 dimensions of space, length, width, and depth, and 1 dimension of time. But according to the string theory, the universe operates within actually 10 dimensions, which include all possible futures and all possible pasts, including realities with totally different physics than those in our known universe. An example of this possibly can be seen if 2 protons were to be smashed together at high enough speeds, which if this were to happen, in theory, their collision would have the ability to create a tiny black hole, which is so awesome. And this black hole could exist for just a fraction of a second before disappearing, and that very tiny black hole would open up a little bubble of interdimensional space where the laws of physics would differ. This is all still theory, but it goes to show that what we're experiencing
would be crazy.
Could be actually.
That would be crazy, man. Like, for real. God. Ugh. Imagine something like that for real. Then you just mean see some anime. Come on.
True.
I go right to the anime.
And all of this could explain the certain things like the weird passage of time from where we are and why it moves differently, as well as why we can all be within the same school but not physically be able to see each other. Now, with this being said and our minds completely blown out of the water, I would begin looking to solve this murder as soon as possible, because it's obvious, judging from how crazy everybody is going, we just can't question everybody we see, which means our best bet would be to work with the most reliable pieces of information that we have access to, and in this case, it would be the school's library. We've seen people in here on and off reading snippets of past news articles, so it's safe to assume that we would be able to get the full scoop on the murders by going through what actually happened by reading it. And the library is a perfect spot for that. By getting our Sherlock on and putting the pieces together, I dare say, my good Watson, that we'll be able to keep ourselves out of harm's way for a little bit longer. Glasses Girl finishes telling these 2 all of this crazy dimension shit, and she disappears without warning, forcing the 2 to get moving. Elsewhere in another dimension, the kid's teacher walks down.
Oh, she probably finna be the victim, the next victim, bro. They finna get her.
This hallway, and she reads an old newspaper about the gruesome deaths that took place here, and reads that the children who died here died from blood loss and asphyxiation, and had their tongues cut out as well.
Wait,
real
who did
gruesome
that?
stuff. Suddenly, she sees a light from within a room and goes to check it out. She sees the most terrifying thing. One of her students talking with 2 of the murdered kids. And this little girl says that she's not leaving, that she needs to be there for the children. The teacher tells her to snap out of it. Suddenly,
yeah, she been like hypnotized, I believe.
Causing these 2 children to freak out and yank the little girl up into the air and right out this window, grinding her body into mincemeat down the hallway, smacking her into a wall, leaving nothing but her little hair tie to show for it. The teacher looks on.
The teacher did that. That was her fault. That was the teacher's fault, man.
in sheer horror as she is brutally crushed by this guy. In some other part of the school, Glasses Guy takes a break finding his classmates and sits down to look at the pictures from within his phone, and he wonders where his friend, this little girl, is. He begins to smile and takes a moment to enjoy his sick fetish, looking at the mutilated corpses of the school's past victims. As he goes through his phone, he finds one which excites him more than all the rest, but he just then gets a call from the dead girl in his photo, which makes him realize who he's really looking at, his beloved classmate. Elsewhere, Satoshi.
Yo, that dude crazy, bro. That guy, that character right there, crazy.
He continues to look for a bathroom for his sister as they run into this creepy girl, and she leads them to what they think is sweet Mochida's potty salvation, guiding them through these doors and out into this walkway. But sweet Mochida can't wait any longer, so he tells his sister to go do her thing near the trees in the distance, but don't go too far, taking little red dress girl along with her. Satoshi then finds an ID on the floor belonging to another student with the same piece of paper as everyone else has. Looks like everyone else performed the same ritual as them to get here, and he then heads inside to wait. Okay, this is crazy. This is probably the most insane thing ever, and we've
Yeah, you gonna trust a ghost kid?
Have yet to address the elephant in the room. And that elephant's name is frickin' Satoshi, idiot. Like, what are you doing? You just frickin' teleported into a literal nightmare with ghosts out to kill you, and you have no weapons, you have no help, you're all alone, and you think it's a good idea to leave your sister alone? I don't
With a ghost?
care if she's with that little demon child. That's even worse. Leaving two
Exactly.
kids alone in a strange place? Are you nuts? And to top it off, that little girl is probably a psychotic ghost. Like, what are you doing? Satoshi played it so dumb, it is mind-numbing how idiotic that move is.
He had to be the main character. The main character always be like the dude have the lowest IQ.
You already split up from Glasses Guy, and now you want to split up again with your sister, even temporarily? If Satoshi had any sense, he would have told her to just do it in a corner with his back turned, so at least he can make sure that nothing happens to her. Inside, Satoshi hears the horrifying screams of his little sister, but the door won't budge, and he turns around to see little red dress girl.
Smiling.
Sweet Mochida busts through the door to find her brother gone, leaving her all alone. Back with Ayumi and Blonde Guy, they walk down the halls and they talk about the doll that they found, and they think that it belongs to the killer of all of these kids. Suddenly, the doll starts talking. Blonde hair guy freaks out and trips and falls through this wall, finding this bloody pouch. The doll continues talking, repenting for all of the murders and pain it caused to those children, which makes Ayumi suspect that this little doll is in fact the killer himself. Blonde-haired guy gives the bloodied pouch to Ayumi, who finds a name on it that she thinks belonged to one of the dead children. Blonde-haired guy then realizes that the name belongs to the same kid who attacked them earlier. Just as that kid shows up and demands that they give it back, the kid goes into full-on rage mode and attacks Ayumi until she quickly shoves the tongue into the kid's face, and he suddenly stops being evil and smiles and gets sent to heaven. The two then realize that they just gave back what the murderer stole from that dead kid, meaning there's only 3 spirits left to be set free. Ayumi and blonde-haired guy then continue to find the rest of the tongues belonging to the other dead kids, and with some digging, they find almost all of the tongues except one. Something isn't right, because the last kid, according to the news article, was found before she died. Ayumi suspects that they won't be able to set the last spirit free the same way as they did for the others, but blonde guy thinks that if she didn't die, then there's no need for her to be set free. Ayumi then mentions that if this was the case, then everything should have already gone back to normal by now, but it hasn't, forcing Ayumi to think harder about what's really going on. Elsewhere, terrified Mochida roams the halls as she looks for her mother, and she runs into good old Glasses Guy, but
not him. Oh, he got blood on him. And what is a sword or a stick? Yo, he finna do damage on her.
Something isn't right about him, and she can tell. And Glasses Guy reveals himself to be on some serious creepo and charges at her, and sweet Mochida runs for her life. She hides in sheer horror, but suddenly is found by this guy, Mr. Studface, and he lures sweet Mochida out, telling her that he's also looking for his little sister. But just then Glasses Guy finds them. But Mr. Studface moves as good as he looks and kills Glasses Guy straight into his windpipe. Mr. Studface turns around to Mochida, revealing that he too is batshit crazy, calling sweet Mochida his new sister. Mochida runs for her life, and she is led to safety by little
I thought the God. Now the glasses dude, I thought he was supposed to be on the good side. Yeah, I'm confused.
Little red dress girl. Suddenly a massive earthquake rips through everybody, just like in the beginning. And luckily for Ayumi and Blonde Guy, the earthquake sends them all the way back to where it all began, their original school. Back in the spirit realm, Satoshi isn't as lucky, and he continues to explore this place instead of trying to find his sister. What a jerk. And he sees from this newspaper that only one girl survived those murders all those years ago. And the person who survived looks exactly like Little Red Dress Girl. But if she's alive, then why is she in this hellhole with all of them? He then finds a tape nearby with a recent date on it, and this book that he thinks he could use to send everybody back home. Suddenly, Glasses Girl pops up and tells him that they all messed up the ritual that they did in the beginning, and she Dr. Stranges his horny ass to the person he's thinking of most in that moment. Back in the land of the living, these two have no clue what's going on just as this portal opens up, and one of the main murdered girls appears and mentions that if they want to save their friends, they'll have to do more than just return all of the tongues to the kids. They need to help the spirits find peace, and she then shows them exactly how she was brutally murdered so they know what kind of terror they all experienced by literally putting Ayumi into this dead girl's shoes, replaying the night that she was brutally murdered, and Ayumi finds out who the real killer is, Little Red Dress Girl, and we find out that she ordered the murders of all of these children and basically bossed around this big guy into helping her commit
how she did that
these crimes. Ayumi then wakes back up with a fright and decides to go back into the spirit realm to help her friends, but Blonde Dude wusses out, and the dead girl tells her to hurry because the souls of the Heavenly Host Elementary School have begun looking for a new host, and soon even the good spirits like this girl,
they probably gonna get that dude's sister then. I think they were trying to get that dude's sister, and I think that dude who that looking for his sister is that her. The dude that killed the dude with the glasses. I think that his sister with the red. And now I think he finna use that main character guy sister. Well, no, he want that to be his sister. Something like that, I'm assuming.
Will go insane. So with the clock ticking, Ayumi is then teleported back into the spirit realm to stop all of this.
I could be wrong.
This is a casebook example of when you go to the spirit realm, folks, you don't trust anybody, including tiny little girls. Little Red Dress Girl is nuts, and to be honest, I wouldn't trust her with my life. In fact, the blonde hair guy here is the only one thinking smart about this and is actually using his brain. Does that make him a wuss still, however? Yes it does. But that's okay, he's a smart wuss, and let's be honest, at most, any of these kids are about 10 years or younger. Maybe blonde hair guy 13 max, and that's the thing. How precious is any kid relationship you've ever had that you must risk your life for? On average, by the time you graduate and become a big boy, you lose half of those relationships just like that, which means more likely than not, if all of these kids somehow survived, they'll all lose touch with each other eventually, which means they wouldn't even be in our lives after a certain point, which means they might as well be dead to begin with. See what I did there? I brought that logic back full circle. If the tree falls in the forest when no one is around, does it make a sound? I say no, it doesn't. And so even if we went back to save all of our friends right now, we'd lose touch with them eventually, which means we might as well speed up the process of us not knowing them sooner and leave them to die right now. Quoting Sun Tzu, The Art of War. Elsewhere, a given up Naomi lays down defeated thanks to Meatball Hair Girl's death earlier. And just then, good old horn dog Satoshi appears near her thanks to Glasses Girl, and she hugs the crap out of him, and this dude totally doesn't feel bad about it at all, even though he probably should have thought of his sister instead. And Glasses Girl totally gave him the chance too. She then tells Satoshi that Meatball Hair Girl died and takes him to her corpse, but he thinks something is suspicious and that maybe the spirits made her die, because Meatball Hair Girl wouldn't just die like that, which means they can't trust anything in here. Meanwhile, back with Sweet Mochida, she finally escapes from Mr. Studface, but that's when Red Dress Girl turns full nutso and prepares to—
I think Studface is that. I think that's his sister right there. The Studface guy, that gotta be his sister. That gotta be his sister.
Kill her, forcing Sweet Mochida to yet again run for her life, ending up in this
room. She's tired of running.
That's when she turns around and sees her worst nightmare. It's Mr. Studface, looking like a—
oh my God, the Studface guy.
bloodied-possessed anatomy mannequin that you'd find in medical school. He grabs Mochida's sweet face and ties her up. He then brutally tortures her, doing the most despicable things to Mochida. He even scoops out her eyeball Ben & Jerry style, forcing her to
so she's, oh god, so it's over for her.
Squeal like a gutted pig. But he doesn't stop and slowly plunges his knife into her chest, just as blonde hair guy comes in swinging, slicing Mr. Studface's head off. But it's too late.
Yeah, I'm saying too late now. It's over. She's gone, bro.
Guy does try to save her, but then this big dude comes at him and they fight. Ayumi then arrives and tries to get sweet Mochida out of there, but then she turns around and sees blonde hair guy covered in blood. He came back to save them all, and that was his biggest mistake. So
I mean, I give him props for saving them, but at the same time, he should have just stayed. Dang.
Suddenly, he gets stabbed through the stomach, blood spilling everywhere, and he tells them with his last breath to run. Then suddenly a hand forces its way through his mouth. Nothing can stop this dude, and Ayumi and Sweet Mochida look in sheer terror. Satoshi then arrives late as balls thanks to Sweet Mochida's screams from earlier.
I know the
and
MC.
Saves the two, taking them back to Naomi. This is madness. And blonde hair guy kinda did move up in my book with that superhero save there, but
but he should have just stayed. He should not even went back. I know it's selfish and all that, but he should not even went back. I wouldn't even went back, bro. Forget that.
Here's the thing. Why did he simultaneously feel the need to become the biggest idiot in this side of the Western Hemisphere? Sweet Mochida was pretty much already dead to begin with, let's be honest. She was a liability from the start, and I'm amazed that she made it this far. But she was dead weight all along. The fact is, you saw it clearly too. Everyone was too late to save her. And Sweet Mochida's sweet face was destined to get
already too late because the eye. Yeah.
Royally screwed up since birth. If anything, blonde hair guy should have sliced Mr. Studface and then in an act of pure mercy killing, I'm sure, plunged the dagger into Sweet Mochida's neck, causing her to bleed out fast. See what I mean? Mercy killing. Because by the time he showed up, she was pretty much already dead, cut up on that tortured table. In fact, if he just put her out of her misery like a true hero, then he could have spared her last moments of pure terror and agony. And he could have still been alive to help us on our journey getting out of here. Because if you're asking me to choose between a badass dude or a 6-year-old girl who is dumb as a fugu fish is deadly, then it's no competition. I'm choosing the blonde badass because Sweet Mochida is certifiably useless. And while we're on that note, why did blonde hair guy feel the need to come at the zombie spirit dude? There's weight classes in physical sports for a reason, folks. Just from his stature alone, I could have told you from a distance that that zombie spirit dude is well over 6 feet and is not to be messed with. Because one-on-one, it's highly unlikely that a high schooler would have been able to take him on. Blonde dude risked his life to save a 6-year-old girl. Come on. They should have at most tried to attack him from a distance, only to keep him at bay, while they
should have kept that stick or whatever that thing he hit with the cool guy.
Tried to get the hell out of there. Moral of the story, folks, don't save the kids. Satoshi then sits outside with the sister that he failed to save like a loser. And the group watches and waits as Sweet Mochida's sweetness ends in bitter tears for the rest of the group.
That's sad.
Later on, the gang forgets about the sister anime style quick and recap what they know. They talk about how Little Red Dress Girl is the true evil around here, and they discuss that the only way to make it back home is by putting all the spirits to rest, which means they gotta do one thing: get a confession from the killer. But to do all of this, they need their charms from earlier. But Naomi, like a dumb boo-boo, is missing hers, needlessly complicating everything. The group then decides to go search the school one last time for their teacher, and Ayumi then has the sudden realization that the notebook Satoshi found earlier belongs to Glasses Girl, which, if this is true, means that everything on her blog is a lie. And that's when she runs into Glasses Girl, who turns out to be batshit nutso too, and confirms what Ayumi is thinking. Glasses Girl reveals that her online blog was a trap designed to make more people come here and investigate the murders that happened here, and in doing so sucking more people into this curse and taking their souls. And she claims that she did all of this out of love for a guy that she met here ages back. This is the someone she was looking for as a spirit all this while. Ayumi then reveals to Glasses Girl what she really did to her one true love, and says that this place possessed her to kill her man, showing Glasses Girl her and her lover's corpse, causing Glasses Girl to vomit out black sludge and releasing her spirit into the afterlife once and for all. Elsewhere, Satoshi and Naomi find out, thanks to this conveniently placed book, my, look at that, Little Red Dress Girl is trapping all of these souls here in order to provide the spirit of her dead mother with company, and they realize that this book is the diary of Little Red Dress Girl's mother. They also find out that this mother is the same person who died falling down the stairs of this school all those years ago. This is what caused Little Red Dress Girl to go crazy in the afterlife, trapping her spirit and all of the others who died in this place. The two then find a room with seals everywhere, and that's when Satoshi is suddenly hit with a supernatural flashback, seeing the principal of this school cutting out Little Red Dress Girl's tongue and stabbing her body. But the flashback suddenly stops as another earthquake rumble happens, breaking off this wall and revealing a ladder, causing the two kids to head down further into the devil's steps as they come across this terrifying torture room. They then hear footsteps coming, and they quickly hide under the table, and they
like this spot where they had the kids at, like chopping the tongues off and stuff.
See this dude drop a meatball girl's corpse, and he then cuts out her tongue. The two kids look in horror, and Naomi loses her mind and runs after Meatball Hair Girl's corpse. Satoshi chases after her but cannot find her. Oh my gosh, that was sickening. Also, Naomi's gotta cool her jets, like, whoa, settle down, Captain Marvel. We don't know who this monster is. And what is she going to do? She's just going to run around willy-nilly? Bad plan. Satoshi shouldn't have even bothered chasing after her and should have stayed hidden. Because have you guys played Outlast? I have. This is the exact same type of shit that would have had the monsters pretend to leave the area only to sneak attack us from behind. Nope, no thanks, not gonna do that. If we were to go look for her, we should look around the room and see if there's anything that we could use to defend ourselves. There's a lot of chains hanging. Can we take those down? There also seems to be some tools and instruments of torture in the back corner of the room on that table. We should also check the closet over there and see what's inside it. Once we've armed ourselves with whatever we can find, we should cover our scent of life. What I mean by that is, these ghosts attacking us are dead, and some of them seem to have varying degrees of intelligence and clarity of thought. It makes me wonder if we were to drench ourselves with the blood of these victims, cover ourselves in all the tonguey gore that we can, and appear to be dead, I believe that it is possible that we could mask our scent of being alive. I would have preferred to test out this theory beforehand on someone else, but we're out of options here. We need to maximize our chances of survival as we wander these haunted tunnels looking for our friend who abandoned us underneath this cursed school. Thanks to the earthquake from earlier, Ayumi sits in a bunch of rubble and is confused as hell. She then sees a bunch more scary shit, just as Satoshi shows up and tells Ayumi that everyone else from their class, aka all the C-plot characters that she found, are dead. And that's when this nice spirit shows up again and tells these two that Naomi is now under control by the curse of this place, and that she'll need to overcome its powers before returning back to them. And while they wait, they head off and finally find the corpse of Little Red Dress Girl, laying right next to the psycho killer headmaster. And that's when the vengeful spirit of Little Red Dress Girl comes at them for blood, stabbing Satoshi's right hand as her good half also shows up to the corpse party. Elsewhere, as Naomi continues to fight her own demons, this haunted place reveals to her the most insane thing ever. It reveals to her that it was actually her who killed Meatball Hair Girl. This place possessed her to do it, causing her to lose her mind. But in all this sadness, Meatball Hair Girl calls Naomi from beyond the grave to forgive her, and she finally breaks free from the curse. Back at this corpse party, Satoshi sits cut to shit and tries to talk some sense into both the good half and the bad half of the ghost of Little Red Dress Girl, and desperately tells her that her and her mother were the first victims of all of this. And we see a flashback of the headmaster accidentally pushing her mother down the stairs, and Little Red Dress Girl sees it all. This is how she died and what caused all of this. Satoshi then hands the good spirit her tongue that he found earlier and finally sets the two in one spirit free. But suddenly the whole school starts crumbling, and this ghost girl pops up again and tells everyone that they need to get out of here now, gathering the three outside to perform the same ritual that brought them here. But because Naomi lost her charm earlier like a dope, Satoshi then offers his own charm for her to use, lending her his helping hand, and mentions that he'll just use his sister's charm that he held onto for his sister. But turns out this kiddo lent out one too many hands and comes up short, because when they teleport back to their original school, the two girls look in sheer horror, with each of them holding one of Satoshi's bloodied arms, causing the duo to sit at the proverbial finish line in dead silence. Bummer. But what do you think about Corpse Party? Let us know what you like and what you didn't like.
There you have it, ladies and gents. Oh man, oh yeah, man, I gotta watch this right here, bro. Is it on Crunchyroll? Dang, main character, MC guy, gotta go. I gotta watch it though still, man, because you couldn't see all the color blurred. But you know, I gotta watch it though. She already know. Link up down in the description. Like, comment, subscribe.